Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Anne Koopman and I'm a leadership and strengths coach, and I help courageous leaders and individuals to step into their true potential and lead with their strength and emotional intelligence. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get a notification when my next videos are up. In this video today, we will be talking about the language we use and how we can use and choose words that will help other people to stay in a growth mindset. I have already created another video you can find up here about growth mindset and how we can foster a growth mindset for ourselves. So make sure that you check that out. And this today will really focus on how we can help other people to maintain a growth mindset. Just a quick recap, a growth mindset helps us to embrace challenges. It helps us to stay open-minded and to believe that we can work things out. It helps us to believe that we can develop the skills to achieve what we want to achieve. Often we compare a growth mindset to a fixed mindset, which actually believes or makes us think that we don't have what it takes, that we're born with the intelligence that we already have and there's nothing we can change about it, that we actually give up much quicker. So whenever something gets difficult, we just give up because we're like, this is not for me. Or when we get some negative feedback, we feel like, yeah, they're right, we can't do this. So when we grow up with a fixed mindset, we never really learn how to figure things out, and that there is a different way and that it's worthwhile to figuring out different ways. And most importantly, that it's normal that we make mistakes along the way and we can try again. So growth mindset is really powerful. Whether we are individuals, we lead a team, or we have our own business, having a growth mindset helps us to overcome the challenges. But also if we work with people, if we have a team that we lead, but also if we are a parent in relationships, and if we have our own business, the language we use can have a big impact on how we help other people around us to maintain a growth mindset and to overcome their challenges. So your words really matter. And the words you say and the feedback you give can have a big impact of whether a person can actually stay in a growth mindset and learn to stick to the process and understand that the process is what's important and not necessarily the outcome. Or your feedback can actually lead to somebody shutting down, moving straight into their fixed mindset. So the words matter. So let's explore a few things today that you can say to help other people stay in a growth mindset. And I will be sharing some real examples of phrases that you can use to provide feedback and to provide some guidance to help your individuals that you lead or work with or your kids to stay in a growth mindset. Feedback, feels always a little bit icky for us. It is always quite tricky to receive feedback. It can put us in the defensive mode really quickly. It can shut us down. We lose faith and believe in ourselves, and we can kind of get into a negative headspace. I've also created 2 videos on how to provide feedback and how to receive feedback that I'm going to link to you as well right now, so you can have a look at those as well to help you receive feedback a little bit better or provide feedback as a courageous leader. So the key when we want to give feedback in a growth mindset is to focus on the process and not the outcome. Because remember, it's about learning that it's okay to make mistakes along the way, that it's normal that the first try doesn't necessarily work, and that we can find another way and try something else. So we really want to focus on the process and encourage the individual to keep trying and believing in themselves. So my first tip is really to set the baseline and frame the environment that you work with your team or with the people around you. And it's really important that from the get-go, when we start a new project or we have a new team member or an individual starting a new job, for example, that we frame the environment and we can say things like, mistakes are welcome here. This is a big challenging project. We've never done something like this before, so this will get a bit tricky for us, but we will figure this out together. I do not expect you to know this already. Or you can say, we've never done something like this before. I expect us to make some mistakes. So these are just 4 phrases you can use to help frame the environment and frame the situation, and from the get-go, show that it's okay that we make mistakes and it's normal that we don't know everything. You know how often we think when we start a new job and we feel like too embarrassed to ask a question because we're like, oh God, they hired me because they think I know everything. Of course we don't. When we start a new job in a new company, a new team, there's new processes, new words, new terms that they use, a new way of working, right? So no matter how much or little experience we have, we will never know it all. So asking questions should be allowed and should be normalized, as well as making mistakes. So if you frame it like that to a new employee or to your team at the start of a new project, then you can already take all that anxiety away and you normalize that we can all make mistakes. None of us know how to do this yet, but we will figure it out. And that brings me to my second really baseline tip is the word yet. So there's a real power in using the word yet. So if someone says to you, I can't do this, I don't know how to do this, I'm not good enough for this, I can't do this job, then you can respond and say, you don't know how to do this yet. You can't do this job yet. And that powerful word shows that you expect and it's okay that they don't know it yet. But yet shows that there is process to be made and that there is the ability to learn and understand what they need to do and what they don't know yet. So that's really powerful, the word yet. And then let's go through the process of an individual starting something. It's quite hard along the way, and then all the way until they've finished something along the way. And I will give you a few phrases for each of these different situations. So let's assume an individual has started something and they made a mistake along the way. 2 examples of what you could say. You could say, I expect you to make mistakes along the way. Or you could say, you might be struggling right now, but I can see that you're making progress. So let's just break it down into smaller steps. So with both those feedbacks, you're giving away the anxiety and fear around making mistakes, because that can often stop the progress, stop all our motivation and believe in ourselves and kind of take away our confidence. So you're showing that's normal that we make mistakes, and you're right away providing an opportunity to move forward and helping them and guiding them along the way. Let's look at some examples for when an individual might need some advice along the way. You could say, let me give you some additional information to help you solve this. Or you could say, who could you ask for advice or a new perspective? So with those 2 answers, you're giving them opportunities to get some input from either you or other people around them without telling them that they can't do it. Because you're showing and again normalizing that it's normal to ask for help and get support from other people. What can you say when someone is making good progress and you want to motivate them to actually stick to what they're doing and believing in themselves that they can do it and that their hard work is actually paying off and that it's actually about the work and the effort they're putting in and not just easily cruising through? You could say, that's a really tricky problem you're working through and it looks like your strategies are working for you. Could you share with me the steps that you took to get here? So you're encouraging that they're making progress, that they have strategies in place, and you're showing curiosity to learn about their steps that they're taking. So you're helping them to focus on the process and the work and the effort that they're putting in. And that will strengthen them to believe that they can figure that out again or another problem the next time. Or if somebody has given you a report, for example, or issued something to you, and they can still develop on it further, you can say, I can really see a difference in this report compared to their first version. So it really is paying off that you do X, Y, Z, that you did this strategy or you tried this step. And lastly, when they achieved great results, rather than just saying, yep, well done, good job, you again want to iterate the way that they took to get there to really help them see that their work has paid off and it wasn't just good luck or coincidence. You can say, I'm proud of the effort that you've put in. And you can also say, what tools or processes have you used to make this a success? Again, this helps them to reflect on how they got there so they can take some lessons learned for new projects or problems and challenges that they encounter going forward. So there were a few scenarios and a few suggestions of phrases you can use when you provide feedback along the way and you guide someone through a challenge or through a problem. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know which one you're going to use and which one resonated the most with you. If you like what you see, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on my new videos. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon.